Hi, this is Steph with Stampin' and Scrappin' with Steph, and today I have a really fun fold card for you. We are going to be making this pop-up card. So I created this card as one of my projects for the Stampin' Friends blog hop. Our theme for the month was all about the paper, and so I really wanted, to design a card that is going to showcase the patterns. So for this particular paper, this is, I think it's patterned party, and it's actually paper that is in our annual catalog, and it's available to our hostesses when they host a workshop party with a demonstrator. So it's one of those things that they can get as a host rewards. When I recreate this card, I'm going to show it a little differently. So for this one, I have it opening up. For the card that we're going to create, I'm going to go sideways this way, just to change it up a little bit. You make it whichever way you want. As far as the design, it's really the front that matters. So what you're going to need today is a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11, a designer series paper that's 6 by 6, another piece that measures 4 by 5 1/8, and this I've already put together, but it's another piece of designer series paper and a piece of basic white, and I cut those out with the scalloped contour dies, which is the color and contour bundle in the annual catalog. I used this particular one right here, and this one. It's actually the first time I have used these dies since I bought them, and they're really fun. I really like the labels that they create. So let's set this aside. We're going to do the card base first. So I'm going to get on my trimmer. You want to score on the 11-inch side at the top at 4 1/4, and then 5 1/2. Okay. Alright, so now let's fold this half here on the 5 1/2 section, and then you have this other score line here. And we're going to score back. Just give it a good burnish. We're going to add adhesive in this scored section right here. Sometimes this thing just doesn't advance. All right, and put that down. Now you could use liquid glue or any other adhesive, tear and tape or whatever, but I'm going to just use the Stampin' seal. The next thing that we want to do is this piece right here. So when I cut this piece, I kept in mind the direction of the paper. So for this one, it has a scallop pattern. I want to make sure that it's, running left to right. I don't like it this way. Some people, maybe it doesn't bother you, but that pattern kind of bothers me that way. So we're going to do 1/8 of an inch trimmed off here. And you can see on this one, because I'm opening it from the top, my pattern is going down. So you would have to keep in mind when you're trimming this too that you wouldn't want the widest part for this card to be the 5 1/8 and then the 4-inch, because when you put it on the paper it would actually be sideways and your heart would be in this direction, if that makes sense. So just keep in mind before you trim your paper what direction your pattern is actually going to go in. And maybe you're using a print, kind of like this, that it really doesn't matter, what direction the paper goes in, which is fine. And then the other thing too is if you have a busier print, when you cut it as a 5 1/8 by 4 piece of paper first and then trim it, the pattern continues as when you cut it. So when you stick it back on the cardstock, it has that continuous look. You know, I've had that happen where I've trimmed a piece of cardstock and, a piece of designer series paper, and then I've used it and realized it just looks like you chopped it because I didn't keep in mind to like line it up. But typically it's not that big of a deal. Just some prints it's much more evident that there's a direction. All right, so going this way. All right, so now I just want to show you. So this is the pop-up piece. And so when it opens, fingers don't want to work. You have that pop-up look. All right, now bear with me because I always seem to mess up the fold, so I'm going to keep referring if I have to. All right, so taking our 6x6 paper, the pattern that you want to be visible when it opens is what's up. So we're going to fold in half in one direction. Okay, and you can use your bone folder at this point if you'd like. We're going to turn, open it, and fold it in this direction. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over so that the opposite pattern is showing. I'm going to fold this on the diagonal. Get a little crease. Open, we're going to turn, and we're going to fold it on the diagonal. So if anybody's into like the paper folding or was that origami, this is probably a very easy thing for you. Okay. So now you can see like I gave it a little pop in the middle. And then when you fold it, it folds into that little square packet. So we were sitting this way after we were done with that diagonal. And you can see there's like a little pop up here. Just push it in the opposite direction. And then when you fold it, it just kind of naturally folds down based on the way we did the paper. And if what's visible is the reverse side, then you know you folded it right. And when we open, you have the pattern that you would like. All right, so let's move in here. So the important thing is you've got these sides that are folded, and then you have the sides that kind of are free to open here. You want to make sure that this part is at your outside edge, because if you put it opposite and you try to open because this is going to attach to this part, so as you open, like it won't have any freedom to move. So when you go this way, and this is attached, your card will open. All right, so I'm going to start with some adhesive. You can use, again, whatever you prefer. I think if I was really planning on giving this to someone, you know, maybe the liquid Tombow, just because it's going to be opening and closing. All right, so point to point here to the edges, you shouldn't have it hang over anywhere. So now you can see that's on. So I'm going to add a little more adhesive on this side, and then we're going to fold this over. And because I'm just using the sail, you know, there's no need to wait for it to dry, and you can see it pops it open like that. Okay. So now to decorate. So for the front cover, like I said, I've already done the designer series paper with the Whisper White, and I had decided that I was going to do something a little different. I'm going to use the Hey Birthday Chick. I really liked the Best of Cluck saying, so as I was deciding to redo the card a little bit, I wanted to focus on the saying. So we're going to use this particular chicken because I don't want it to be necessarily birthday. Excuse me. All right, and I'm just going to take my memento. I don't know why, you know, it's not until you get on a video that the voice cracks and things that don't normally happen begin to happen. I don't typically have a dry throat, so it's because I'm recording. All right, so here's our little chicken, and I'm just going to quickly give him a color. So I'm going to do real red for his top feathers here. I think it's called a wattle. I don't know. I'm not sure how much you can see with the zoom, but and then we're going to do pumpkin on his beak. And then I'm just adding some of the pumpkin pie around the feather area. Now you guys all know how to color, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you watching me color, but circular motions, I'm using the dark Daffodil Delight. And I'm just blending. Now right now it doesn't looks like he's got like some pox or something. Okay, so now let's say he's finished, or she's finished, whatever you want to call it. We're going to do the birthday chick dies. And take out the die. Now I'm going to stamp and color this particular chicken twice. I also decided to add a little bit of embellishment on the inside, so while I had the dies out, I cut out the little fence, the small baby chick here, and the chicken feed bag as well, just to save time. So like we'll put this through the Big Shot. Ooh, not a Big Shot, Stampin' Cut emboss machine. Sorry, force a habit. And move this out of the way. So now I have two little chickens, the baby chick, the fence, and the feed bag. Okay. And we're going to start with the Best of Luck. So what I wanted to do is, for the front, I'm going to put the little chicken here on a dimensional. Now, how many of you know that you can cut the edges of the dimensionals and they're still adhesive? And I'm just going to kind of stick him, her, like that. I thought this was a little fun idea. And so for the Best of Cluck, I think I'll do the Misty Moonlight, which is one of the colors featured. I'm going to color the letters. And if you've ever colored with the marker, you know to huff. And so now just the Best of is visible. And I'm going to add the adhesive here. And this goes right on the front of the card. Isn't that cute? A little chicken. Okay, so I'm going to clean this stamp really quick because I need it on the inside. Make sure there's nothing else on that. Okay, so now let's move to the inside. So I've cut a little 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square, and that is going to go here. And then my little other chicken, I've cut a 2-inch circle. Now, if you were to mail this card, you know, you may need to drop it. I'm not 100% sure how the postage would work on that. But it could be kind of thick depending on how much you add, so just be careful that even though it fits in our regular envelopes, due to the size of it, they could say, you know, there's some extra shipping. All right. And I'm going to stick this like that. So again, I just wanted to have a little fun with this card. I'm not sure. I'm going to stick that on the inside here. All right. So the 2 3/4, 2 3/4, I wanted it to be a larger square so that if you wanted to write a message, you would have enough room for a little message. So for this part, I'm going to add my little baby chick. Like right about there. And now I'm going to color just the word cluck. And stick that there. How cute. What do you think? All right, and the last thing that we're going to do is tie the ribbon. I am like the world's worst bow tire. I'm sure there's some of you out there that tying bows happens so easily. I feel like I struggle. I don't know. Lack of coordination, maybe. But we'll see. We can get it on there. A little better than I thought it was going to come out, but all right. Give it a quick trim. And there you go. Really cute. I'm happy with how that came out. So here is the original. And then what I also did was, I know our envelope punch board had retired, but I decided to make an envelope out of that paper as well. So for the Stampin' Up! Envelope punch board, if you were to make your own paper, you go by the size of the card, which a finished card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's going to tell you you need a piece of paper that's 8 by 8, and you're going to start at the 3 1/2 inch mark on the board. And you just punch and score all 4 sides. So if you've used an envelope punch board before, you know how to use that. So I decided to go with the print, you know, that I focused in on the inside, and I made an envelope to match. And then I took one of the scallop contoured dies, and I cut out a front label. So if you were to mail this, you could simply just write right there. All right, thank you so much for stopping by, and happy stamping. Till I see you again. Have a great day.